Welcome to this video on learning, teaching, and technology for Curriculum 5018, Technology Integration and Portfolio Development. This video is going to come in 3 parts. And the first part is going to be some pre-writing on learning and teaching. Then we're going to talk about what is technology, and then a framework called PICRAT, and do some more pre-writing on technology. This pre-writing is part of a major assignment you have in this course, which is to write a statement on learning, teaching, and technology. And this statement is just going to help you clarify what you believe about these ideas and how they're related to each other. So we're going to revisit it several times. So this week, I'm going to kind of structure and help you think through and start developing your statement, and you're going to share it with peers and receive feedback. And then we're going to revisit again in week 3, and then finally the very last week in the course, week 8, you're going to make another revision to your statement that hopefully reflects some things that you've learned in this course. So just to briefly revisit the topics of this video, that's why I have some of these in blue, because this is part 1 where we're going to do some pre-writing on what is learning and teaching. And then part 2 is just what is technology. And then part 3, we're doing PICRAT and then adding another pre-writing session on technology. So just so you have an idea of what we're doing here. So for part 1, we're going to be doing our pre-writing on learning and teaching. So this is what I recommend. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to consider the questions, and then you can free write or talk about the issues or answers to the questions. So either you can write in your journal or computer, where you would just try to write continuously for 5 minutes or type continuously, just stream of consciousness to get your ideas out. Or some people actually prefer talking it out, just talking out loud in response to things. A good way to do that is just to record yourself talking on your phone. So if you come up with something really good, you can go back to it if you need to. Some people also like walking around while you talk. Sometimes that can help you brainstorm. So what I'm going to ask you to do is consider some questions for about 5 minutes on your own, and then write a 1 to 2 summary sentence based on your thinking. And then at the end, after all of this week's work, you're going to be writing another summary in the discussion forum, which we'll talk about later. All right? So we're going to start with just focusing on what is learning. And here's some questions to consider. It's helpful to think about your own experiences. What have you actually learned today? How do you know when we've learned something? What triggers learning? What starts you learning something? Where and how do you learn? And then just consider, we talk about children learning a lot, but how about like scientists working on a vaccine or other things? How do they learn? How do artists learn, and teachers and parents? And do we have to have a teacher with us to learn? So go ahead and spend about 5 minutes pre-writing or talking it out, and then take the information or the comments you wrote out and write a 1 to 2 paragraph summary and write it in response to this slide in Edpuzzle. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to be talking about what is teaching. So here's some questions to consider. What's the difference between teaching and learning? Now, it might seem obvious, but see if you can think deeper. Is there some things in common about teaching and learning? How do they work together? What conditions support learning? What type of sports might an individual need to learn? What has to be there in order for you to learn? What do the most effective teachers do? What does it mean to be an effective teacher? What do you have to know to be a teacher? And how is a teacher different from a friend or parent? So again, spend about 5 minutes doing some pre-writing or talking it out, and then write a 1 to 2 sentence summary of your thoughts and post it in Edpuzzle. All right, that's it for this video. Hold on to what you've written, and we're going to come back to it later on this week. Thanks.